Welcome to Joyful Yin Yoga. Today's practice is a Yin practice where we'll focus on grounding and connecting, really drawing our focus and our attention inward. I have with me a blanket, a bolster, 2 blocks, and a strap. So if you want to take a moment to gather all your props, go ahead. You can substitute a pillow for the bolster. You could substitute books for blocks, and a belt or a scarf or anything you'd like for a strap. All right, let's come to a comfortable seat. Notice your body, notice your breath. Notice any distractions that you might find in your immediate environment. Notice if you have any pets around or anything that might be distracting you internally. Perhaps your mind is exploring your list of things to do. Can we set aside this time to be your time, to quiet the distractions, to quiet the thoughts in your mind? The reality is the distractions will always be there. Our sensory system is always trying to draw us out from center. These times we spend on our mats, focused on our breath, focused within, help to train our brain, train our mind to turn less to the attachments of the outside world. Allow yourself 5 more breaths here. On your next breath, let your eyes flutter open, and then let's switch the cross of our ankles. And then from this space, we'll start to walk our torso a little forward. So you're kind of at a diagonal with your spine. I'll mirror you here. We'll take an inhale. And then on exhale, walk yourself over toward the right side and let your body drape over that right knee. Now, as you do that, you might find that it would feel good to have support underneath your head, maybe a block or a bolster. Start to notice how your hips are showing up. Notice the spaces of your body that are connected to the earth. How do they feel? Notice the left low quadrant of your back. How does that feel? All the while using your breath as a tool to explore, to stay curious. Consciously softening through your jaw, letting your breath deepen without force. And slowly begin to lift your torso up. Walk back to center. Pause a moment. If you are using a block, bring it with you to the other side. We'll again come forward first. Find that little bit of lift and length, and then walk it over to the left. Oh yeah. Notice maybe right away if one side feels different than the other. I certainly feel that today? Again, connect first. Notice the spaces of your lower body that are touching the earth. Feel that right side getting heavier and heavier. And then allowing this gentle side body twisted fold to open up through the right lower quadrant of your back, a little bit through the right side rib cage, finding the lower body grounding down, connecting as we create more and more space around our torso. Continuing to assess your body, use your breath. Draw your focus, your attention inward. Take another deep inhale here. And exhale, slowly lift your torso. Walk yourself up and back through to center, and you can slide your block out of the way. Let yourself just soften at center for a breath or two. Notice if there's a little bit more space, a little bit more to fill in your lungs and in your rib cage here. Awesome. From here, if you have a blanket, go ahead and fold it up so that you can sit right up on the edge of the blanket. So your sits bones kind of find the blanket, and then you tip your pelvis slightly forward. We'll draw our right leg out to the side, the left foot into your inner right thigh, so it's like a half dragonfly shape. Now, as you find the shape, can you start to just kind of wiggle and soften through the right leg all the way down to your right toes? Give them a little wiggle as well. And you'll want perhaps a strap and a block or a bolster pillow here. So again, we're soft through that right knee. There's not a lot of effort here except to effortfully relax. Is that a thing? For some of us, it requires effort. And then we'll start to work our way down that right leg. So options here. I like to rest my right elbow on a block and then rest my head in my hand. You could do this completely prop free if you don't want to use a prop. The left arm could reach up overhead. The left hand could find your head, or if that bothers your shoulder, just release your left hand back behind you. So find the space where you can create even more space in that side body. Let the left side rib cage expand. Let your inhales create more and more space. And if you'd like to let your eyes close down or soften to one point in front of you, start to draw your awareness and your focus back inward. And as you open your torso, allow your lower body to get heavier, to connect deeper to the earth. Continue to get really heavy through that left side sits bone. Creating space without being effortful. Creating space for us to turn into. When you feel your attention move away from center, just notice. And then consciously bring your attention back to your breath, to your focus inside. Soft jaw, soft brow. Notice if you can bring your awareness to that space right in that outer left hip. The space between your torso and your thigh. You imagine breathing more space there as well. And on your next breath in, start to soften that lifted arm. Use your left hand to help guide your torso upright. And when you arrive, just pause, keeping your legs exactly as they are. Eyes can soften back down. Wonderful. Notice the difference between right and left side. And then find your strap. You're going to take the strap or your belt or whatever you have around the right foot. And again, once you've gotten the foot, relax it a little bit. So we're not flexing hard. It's just a little soft foot down there. And we'll slide the strap into our left hand. So our left arm will reach way back behind us, thumb facing down, and then feed the strap into that hand. Okay, you might have to loop the foot to make that happen. Oh, straps are really exciting for kittens, apparently. Reaching up with the right arm. Now, as you do this, ground down even more through your right sits bone, and then twist gently to the left. Relax through the right leg. Lift just slightly through the crown of your head. And then once you find yourself in this twist, connect back inward. So get heavy with your lower body. Feel that gentle buoyancy around your heart and your torso. Let your eyes soften closed if that feels good. Notice how your twist shifts your breath. Continue to draw your focus inward. Take another deep breath here. And we'll slowly unwind and let that strap go. Let your arms just kind of work their way out. You might feel a fair amount of sensation in that left arm. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and switch sides now. We'll take the left leg out to the side. Relax the leg, relax the foot, the ankle. Give yourself a moment, shake it out. And then take one of your blocks or your bolster, whatever you used on the other side. We'll again really think about connecting our sits bones evenly down toward the earth. And then work your arm or your elbow down onto that block, right? If you feel like you'd prefer not to use a prop, feel free to let that go. And then do what makes sense with your right arm. Hands ahead, hand back behind you. Be with what makes sense. And then once you arrive, relax and get heavier again. Ground down through your lower body. as you settle into the side body opening, can you connect? Using your breath to create more space in the right side. What do you feel? What do you notice? When you feel your attention or your awareness being brought away from center, can you draw yourself back to observing your experience in this moment? When your body starts to find places of stillness, are you able to allow your mind to join that stillness? Or does your mind get a little louder? Without judgment, just with observation, with acknowledgement, simply being the observer. Continue to work your focus inward, starting with the physical body, working your way through the energetic body, the emotional body, tapping into what's left. When you stop attaching to everything that happens around you. Allow yourself 5 more deep breaths here. And as you feel ready, start to release that right arm down. Use the hand to help guide your torso upright. You might feel that dull, achy sensation that comes after a lot of our yin poses. Find your way to center. Consciously relax shoulders, neck, throat, jaw, brow. And slowly slide your block out from your space here, and then gather your strap. You can take that loop around your left foot, relax through the left leg once more, sweep your right arm back behind you, and then feed the strap into your hands. Good. Relax, get heavy through your lower body, reach the left arm up, twist gently to the right, and then let your hand land on your right knee. As you twist, notice if your hips are lifting up off the ground. Can you root down through your glutes? Can you feel your thighs pressing the earth? Allow your body another deep breath here in this twist. And then gently unwind, gather the strap, shake out that right arm. And bring both feet together here. And just like you would in Baddha Konasana, your feet are together, but we'll walk our feet a little farther forward so that we're in this yin butterfly shape. I like to take blocks underneath my knees for a little support so that I don't overstretch. If you'd like blocks to simply help support your legs, that's a great idea too. Go ahead and find your bolster, pillow if you'd like, and then find a little bit of length. So we're rooting, right, from our lower body, but then gathering some spaciousness in our upper body. Walk yourself forward any amount. So now starting to connect again to that lower region of your back body. Maybe feeling a little bit more even here. Let your breath now move towards your low back, toward the back of your rib cage, creating more and more space in your back body. If it comes to a point where you feel like there's more room for you to draw your torso forward, feel free to do so. Sometimes after we hold our yin shapes for a minute or so, our body says, yeah, this is great, and we relax into it. We want to relax into it. Yin is an excellent practice to teach us to surrender, to teach us that we do not always have to resist. Notice if your body is willing to settle in here a little deeper. If you can turn your focus inward just a little bit more. Slowly begin to make your way back up, taking your time as you walk your torso up, sliding your props off to the side, and then let's go ahead and just extend extend our legs out in front of us for a moment. You can let your feet windshield wiper, your legs windshield wiper a bit. Excellent. So we'll make our way down onto our back body. You might have your bolster and your blanket nearby. And so making your way down in a way that's safe for you, we'll walk our feet as wide as the mat and let our knees knock in towards center, coming into a constructed rest pose. We're starting in constructive rest pose to see how our body responds to being in this internal rotation with our hips. Does it feel natural? Does it feel challenging? Are there spaces in your outer hip or your glutes that feel tight? And take another breath or two, just observing. And then with your feet as wide as the mat, let your knees start to knock over to the left. So now that left hip is an external rotation as the right hip drops down into that internal rotation. Be here a moment just noticing. How does that show up? Can you feel a stretch in that right hip flexor? And then we'll come back up through center, pause a moment, feel the difference between the two sides, and then allow the knees to knock over to the right. There might be a completely different experience here. The right hip now in external rotation, the left hip in internal rotation. Finding what you can find about this side. And then we'll transition back up through center. Let the knees knock once more to the left. And then lots of options here. You could take your blanket, your bolster, something underneath your left thigh so it's opening just the amount you want it to. You could stay here, certainly, and breathe. So there's a little twist in your pelvis, but you're also getting a nice stretch through your hips. You can open your arms out like a cactus or out into a T. You can even look over that right shoulder. Now, if all of this feels good, you might slide your left ankle on top of your right knee. So this intensifies that right hip flexor stretch quite a bit. If this does not feel good on either knee, please don't do it. Return back to that kind of dropped windshield wiper twist. Take another breath in. And out. Slowly, if you have the left ankle over the right thigh, start to walk the right foot in. If you don't, bring both knees up and then cross that left ankle over the right thigh. So now we're in a figure 4 shape. And then you can hug the right knee in if you'd like. You could even take your hands around the right shin or the right hamstring. Notice how this feels in your outer left hip and glute area. Can be soft through the right ankle, maybe a little bit more active through the left foot. Now with our lower body less grounded, can you keep that sense of connection with your shoulder blades and the back body, really drawing down energetically toward the earth? Get heavier and heavier. Take another inhale. And exhale, gently release the right foot down. You could extend the left leg for a moment, just kind of point, flex, circle that left ankle, and then release the left foot down. Walk your feet back as wide as the mat. Let your knees knock in towards center. We're back in that constructed rest pose, just kind of checking it out, reassessing the body, the experience you've had, and then letting the knees start to knock over to the right. Again, supporting the right thigh with a bolster or blanket if that feels good. Arms opening out into a cactus or a T shape, maybe even gazing over that left shoulder. Staying here, or if you'd like, the right ankle could come to the left thigh. Again, if this does not feel good in your knees, please don't do it. This can be pretty intense through the left hip flexor. Can you stay with steady breath? If you come to a shape where your body reacts in a way that you can no longer breathe freely, come out of it. Reassess, readjust. Breath is such a good tool. It teaches us so much. You can keep your breath steady. It's exactly where you ought to be, regardless of what the shape looks like. At the end of the day, even the shapes we make with our body in our asana practice, that truly is the external. The deeper we turn inward, the less it matters what we look like. Three more breaths here. And we'll make our way toward that reclined figure four. So if you have the ankle crossed over the thigh, you'll start to lift your hips, walk the foot in. If you have your legs over to the right, bring them to center, cross the right ankle over the left. And then we'll all hug that left knee in towards center if it feels good. If your arms aren't long enough, this is another excellent place to use your strap. You could strap over that left shin or foot or thigh. Especially if you find yourself kind of lifting up off the ground just to grab your leg, it's kind of defeats the purpose, right? Especially when we're trying to really connect to the earth, grounding our back body, feeling heavy, connected, grounded, moving away from that kind of airy outward place. Bring it in toward the center, finding our roots. Allow yourself another breath or two here. And we'll let that left foot land. Give the right leg a moment to extend up. You can kind of wiggle out that right ankle. And then we'll find our way into our rest pose. So if you have that bolster pillow, you could slide it underneath your knees if that feels good. If you have a blanket, you could lay it on top of your body or maybe at least over your hips just to get that feeling again of grounded connection. Let your body, your whole body now get heavy. The heels ground, calves feel heavy. The thighs feel heavy. The hips feel heavy. Feeling connected through the low back, softness through the abdomen, heaviness through the rib cage, heaviness through the shoulder blades. Surrender through the tops of the shoulders and the upper arms, releasing through the elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. Softening the neck and the throat, relaxing your jaw, letting the back of your head stay heavy. Scanning the muscles of your face. Are you holding tension around your jaw, or even the muscles of your eyes, your forehead, or your temples? Can you feel your breath freely entering and exiting your body? Can you release effort? Can you try less? Can you do less? Can you just be? Allow your body a few more breaths here. Knowing always that if you have time to stay for a longer Shavasana, do so. Otherwise, we'll begin to move through ankles and wrists, wiggling fingers and toes. Stretching arms up overhead. Let's take a full body breath in. And a big sigh out your mouth. Drawing your knees into your chest and offering yourself up a well-deserved hug. Just a moment to deeply appreciate all that your body does for you, all that it allows you to do. And then rolling to your favorite side, use your hands to slowly make your way up. When you arrive seated, prop yourself back up however is comfortable, and then notice. Notice how your body feels here. Has energy shifted at all? Inhale, float your arms all the way up overhead, and then on exhale, bring your hands to the heart center, bowing forehead to fingertips in gratitude. I wish you abundant joy. Be well.